Let's go to our match preview. It is Ferencvaros away in the Europa League, who are, just like Karabag, very, very heavily dominant in the Hungarian league. They've won the last six leagues in Hungary. They've won 35 leagues in Hungary in total, which is by far more than anyone else. Last season in the league, let me just get it up here, they were finished on 74 points and the next team below them finished on 58 points. So obviously the best team in Hungary by some way. This year in the Europa League, if you bring up my phone for a second, you'll see what they've done so far. They played Anderlecht away. To 1 in the first game, so Ferencvaros got off to a losing start. They actually did okay in the Conference League last year. Let me get that up. Conference League. They finished second in their group with a group of Fiorentina and Genk. So I mean, for a team from the Hungarian league to finish above a team from the Belgian league is fairly impressive.
So sorry, where do they still went out in the groups?
No, they went through in the groups.
So where do they get to?
I'll find that out. But what do you think? I mean, for them to finish above a team from the Belgian league is fairly impressive.
Yeah, it's decent. I wouldn't, it's not too much to shout about, but it's, they qualified. They got into the round of 32 or 16, I guess, with the Conference League. So it shows that they're not completely useless. And at this level, they can compete. Obviously, this is the Conference League, not Europa League. So it's a level below. This is a competition that West Ham won fairly comfortably. So, look, it's something to know, but I wouldn't say it's like the most impressive thing. I think Ghent, are not a team that is always winning the Belgian league or anything like that. So they did well, but how many points did they get? 12? Was that 12?
10.
10, and just behind who's Fiorentina?
Yeah, Fiorentina got 12.
Should they get any points off Fiorentina?
I'll check it up in a sec.
I'm looking here in their Europa League. To qualify for the Europa League, they just about scraped through the qualifying, beating Borac on penalties. Borac. And
not to be mistaken by Borat.
Borac are Bosnian champions, I believe, or were I don't know, they're in the Bosnian league, I can tell you. And they were very, very close to going out. In fact, they conceded in the 104th minute of extra time.
Oh, wow.
And ended up equalising the 112th minute and then winning on penalties. So they were extremely close to going out, it seems,
wow,
of the Europa League. They've scraped through, have lost their first game to Anderlecht. But, most games in European football, any away game, to get here, you have to be, some sort of a decent side in your own league in your own right. So you have to show them some respect from that front. And I think most away games in Europa League, we usually do have some sort of struggle. We don't usually win very easily. So, the fans as well. Apparently, it's going to be a very intense atmosphere. Would you say they were ranked one of the
most right-wing and racist fan base in Europe?
Okay, but in terms of like in the stadium, like atmosphere,
very
like
ferocious
intense,
fans is what. Very ferocious fans.
Very intense atmosphere. So
apparently, it's going to be very dangerous for Spurs fans going out there. Spurs have not allowed anyone to go directly to the game. They have to pick up their ticket with another ticket, and they only allow them to go on the coaches. They're not allowed to make their own way to the stadium.
So in that atmosphere, if we have potentially a lot of young players playing, we'll see how they handle that. Obviously, quality-wise, even if they're young, we still expect them to be better than the Ferencvaros players and have the quality. But sometimes, the players away, when you're playing an intense atmosphere, it can affect you, it can affect your rhythm. It can get the home crowd up as well. Obviously, this is a massive game for them because Ferencvaros obviously don't play teams like Tottenham every week, and this is probably going to be like a cup final for them. So I expect Ferencvaros to be absolutely up for it. But we should be able to handle that, hopefully, and no excuses.
So last year in the Conference League, they actually were unbeaten in the group stages. They drew with Fiorentina twice, 2-2 and 1-1. They also drew with Genk twice, but they beat Kukakrik twice. And then in the next round, they lost to Olympiacos 1-0 in both legs.
which is no disgrace. Olympiacos, didn't they get to the final? Or did they win it? Who won it?
I think they won it, didn't
Did
they?
they win it?
Yeah.
They definitely got to the final, I think, didn't they? So clearly, Ferencvaros gave them a good game. We saw Karabag, we played them. We had our difficulties against them, even though we beat them 3-0 with 10 men. But, they gave Leverkusen a good game, and they definitely created enough chances against us to probably score at least a goal. So definitely I can envisage having some difficulties. But if we can control the game, have that aggression that we have, in the Premier League in the last few weeks, and have that ability to win the ball up the pitch and just exploit them in those facets of the game. I don't really know how they play, if they're a low block team or whatever, but it shouldn't really matter.
I believe they're an attacking side.
As long as we just concentrate on ourselves, that's all that should matter, really.
Yeah, Olympiacos did go on to win it 1-0 against Fiorentina in the final. So
2 finalists they played.
2 finalists they played.
And they drew with Fiorentina twice.
And narrowly lost to Olympiacos.
So that suggests from last year, and I don't know if they've sold players or whatever. All I can say is this season they only just about beat Borak. Did I say their name was Borak? They lost to Anderlecht, but it does seem to be they're winning their top of the Hungarian league again quite comfortably. So doing quite well domestically, but European does seem they have their struggles. So they did struggle to even get here, it looks like.
Look, it'll be a massive disappointment if we don't win this game. That's the reality. Team from Hungary, as it would have been for the Karabag game as well. But I do feel like Karabag have a bit more quality about them. They
drew 0-0 at home to Borak and drew 1-0 away within minutes of heading out. So I'm looking at their players. I knew one player from Karabag. I don't think I know anyone.
Yeah, you do know someone.
Do I?
Barnabas Varga. He played for Hungary in the Euros just gone.
Varga, yeah.
And he was actually one of the standout players for Hungary in the last 2 international tournaments, I believe.
Barnabas Varga. Okay, so he's a striker who should be wary of.
He scored 20 goals in the Hungarian league last year.
And what about internationally? What's he saying internationally? So did he score at the Euros? He got 1 goal at the Euros in 3 games. Hungary always one of those teams in the Euros where everyone underestimates them, yet they always give you a game.
Because they're hard-working. They're very hard-working team, and I expect nothing less from this team as well. There's a couple of other players that you might have heard of. If you just bring up this is their top players. So you've got Barnabas Varga, 29 years of age, forward player. You've got this guy's name rings a bell as well, Matthias Saldana.
Saldana.
I don't know if he rings a bell for you. Another player who you're definitely going to remember.
Who's Matthias? Where is he? Is he a striker?
Matthias Saldana. Yeah, he's a forward. I'm not sure if he's a striker, but he plays in the forward line.
Saldana. Oh, this guy's. Oh, the only reason I do know this guy is because he looks exactly like Roberto Firmino.
Oh, okay. One guy that you're definitely going to remember is this guy, who's just joined Ferencvaros this year, Mohamed Al-Fani.
Abu Fani,
I mean. He's the one that tried to rinse Harry Kane. When we played Maccabi Haifa.
I remember.
So he's just moved to Ferencvaros.
He was actually not a bad player, I remember, because he plays internationally for Israel, and obviously he was one of the Haifa's better players. So that's interesting. He's just moved there.
Yeah.
Abu Fani. So he'd be upset that he's not facing Harry Kane.
He would be very upset. Well, after last time, probably not, to be honest.
Exactly. They ended up winning 7-2.
And another player who seems to be their top performing player so far this season is none less than Adama Traore.
Not that Adama, because he plays for Fulham.
No, it's Adama Malouda Traore.
What a name, Flora Malouda as well. You've got Adama, Flora Malouda. What a name. So I'm guessing he's very quick, and I'm guessing he's one to watch as well. He can't be not a good player with that kind of name, surely.
Yeah, he plays on the wing, and apparently he is quite quick.
Well, there you go. You're just destined to be a quick player with that name.
Literally. But yeah, so there are a few players that we've heard of in this team. But I do think, like, looking at Ferencvaros and looking at Karabag, our 2 opponents that we faced, I think Karabag are a level above Ferencvaros. And Ferencvaros probably are, probably the lowest ranked team, or would you say the Swedish team?
What that we're facing?
Yeah, are the lowest ranked team.
I assume Elfsborg lower, but I don't know for sure in terms of like rankings or whatever, but I mean, this is definitely one of the games we definitely should be comfortably winning for sure.
And it was obviously great to get off to a winning start last week against Karabakh with 10 men, 3-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This game will throw up different tests because it is away. And like you say, Spurs historically don't do that well away from home. Even against these kind of teams, I remember Europa League, we do struggle from time to time. With the selection headaches that we do have coming into this game, forget what you think Ange is going to do. What would you like to see him do? Would you like to see Mikey Moore start? Would you like to see Lancashire start? There's been defenders that have gone. Dante Casanova's gone. Alfie Dorrington has gone all the way out. I mean, would you like to see these guys given a go from the start?
Yeah, I would, personally. I would. Give them their experience as well in an intense atmosphere against opposition who, yes, they might not be Premier League opposition, but, as we saw, as you said, last season, they did quite well in the Conference League. So this is clearly a team that's capable of playing on the European stage, albeit they're not going to be ever going to be a team that's like favourites to win it or anything, but they're still a team that's capable of giving anyone a game, and they gave the two finalists of the Conference League last year a really good game, drawing against Fiorentina, as you said, twice, and narrowly losing to Olympiacos. So it would be a really good test for these young players, putting them in. It wouldn't be just a game where even if they do well, you can't learn anything from it. I think you can. If Mikey Moore and people like Lancashire and they can do really well in this kind of game, that would show that, they're capable of playing at a European kind of level, and that would be quite significant. Dorrington, I would like to see him play as well next to Romero. That would be really good, and maybe put Davis at left back, give an opportunity to have that balanced back line, continue to give Paul rest, and continue to give defenders as much rest as we can, because the schedule is very intense and we've got a lot of games and we need to be giving players rest when we can. I don't want to see Van de Ven starting here. I want to see him rested.
Has he travelled, Van de Ven?
Good question. I haven't seen,
because he hasn't been pictured in the team getting on the bus.
So maybe there's a chance he hasn't travelled, which I'd be pretty happy with, just to keep him at home for Sunday, because definitely on Sunday we'll need him, that's for sure.
Because with Mickey Van de Ven, he put in such a big effort last Thursday night when we were down 10 men. It seemed like he was defending on his own a lot at times, and you saw his heat map. He was literally everywhere. And then another massive every time he plays it's a massive effort, because that's how just crucial he is to us. So yeah, I agree. I'd like to see Mickey Van de Ven just miss out completely, don't even make the trip.
And I think Solanke's been playing a hell of a lot. I know he's getting back to match fitness, and that's well and good. Maybe it's a case of you play him for like an hour or something and take him off. But I would like to see Lancashire get significant minutes here, because he's been left out the last few squads now, the under-21s, to be involved in the first team. So I want to see him get going this season with the first team. If we're going to use him, if we're going to say, he's capable of playing with the first team, he needs to get going. It's a shame he didn't get on the pitch on Sunday. I thought, Sunday would have been a good opportunity to, especially after Solanke gets that third goal, just take him off, give him a breather and get Lancashire on. But we didn't do that. So I want to see him either start or, play at least half an hour here if the game is won by the hour mark, and get Solanke off. So definitely I want to see Bergvall, obviously I think we need him to start. I think he's chomping at the bit. He's nailed involved. He's chomping at the bit. So I would like to see a really nice balance, because if we have like a Dorrington next to Romero, you got Basuma with a Bergvall and Sai, you got Lancashire with maybe a Brennan and a Mikey Moore. I think there's still a nice balance there of experience, and you're betting in the youth. The only question is, I don't want to go too much on the youth. Just don't want to disrespect Ferencvaros and feel like we can just play a whole youth side, because this is going to be still a tough away game in Europe. So you want to have that experienced core there. So, but I still think if we can fit in a few youngsters, that'll be really, really good, and I think that'll be beneficial to them as well.
Yeah, I think the youngsters that I would actually start, I think I would actually go for all three. I would go for Dorrington, Moore, and Lancashire. If it was up to, if I was playing this game on Football Manager, that's what I'd be doing. But obviously the game isn't played on Football Manager. But I want a strong core in midfield. You've got Romero there, and you've got Vicario there in terms of leadership. You've got Pedro Porro, who's probably going to start as well. So I think if those players dotted around those kind of senior players, I think it could work well.
I think the only one maybe I just wouldn't start is Lancashire. I'll probably just go for Solanke from the start. Give him an hour, allow him to keep his confidence ticking over, get his goal, whatever, and then play with Lancashire for like the final half an hour. And then you got still that front four of like Moore, Johnson, and Solanke. and then you can bring on Lancashire, on the hour mark, or even half time, if depending on how the first half goes. That's probably what I would do. Obviously, we're probably thinking maybe no Timo Werner, but I wonder what he'll do with him. Will he maybe
Timo will start.
So, instead of Brennan on the right,
Yeah, I put Mikey Moore on the right.
you put Mikey Moore on the right, Timo on the left.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll do that. I'm thinking. I'm thinking if he starts Timo, I guess he's played Timo on the right a few times this season. So
why not play Mikey on the right? Mikey can play just as well on the right, on the left, or through the middle. You know, he's very versatile.
But whenever he brings him on, he always moves Timo over to the right and puts him on the left.
So I mean, I wouldn't be against either.
That's
play him on the left or on the right. That's that. I'm assuming if he's going to start, we just know
Mikey
Timo's just terrible on the right, though. Like I prefer to have Timo on the left, keep up with the continuity. He played fairly well at Old Trafford without, with the finishing ability not really there. But I think from a general gameplay, I think he played very well. So I'd like to keep that continuity going.
Yeah. So I think, as always with these European games, it's all about getting all the fringe players involved, acclimatized to how we're playing, getting them up to speed so that when we need them in Premier League games and also for bigger European games as well, they're capable of filling in and they're getting up to match fitness as well when we need to use them, because we're going to need the squad. And that's going to be very important. So there's always a lot to learn, I feel, from these European games, especially when we're using the squad as we will. There was, a hint, or there was a suggestion that, obviously with Odegaard being injured, we saw Reguilon travel. A lot of people speculating that Reguilon has been able to replace Odegaard in the squad. I think Lily White Rose suggesting that there's a law that in the Europa League rules that you can replace two players in your Europa League squad, and we've added Reguilon, but it does seem to not be true. It does seem Paul O'Keefe says that we can't add from the league phase, so actually we're not able to add Reguilon, which does beg the question why he has travelled at all, because Reguilon has travelled, he's been pictured on the plane. So it's an odd situation. Maybe that'll be cleared up by Ange once when the press conference happens in a couple of hours. But Reguilon has travelled, so I mean, I don't know whether there is a loophole and Paul O'Keefe's wrong, or maybe Lily White Rose is wrong. I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. Be interesting to see if he is able to join, if he does play tomorrow. That would be interesting. But I don't know.
I can't see it being how he's able to join, because it clearly states in the rules that you can't amend the squad after the group stage starts.
You can't
in the rules.
Yeah.
So there's.
I don't think there's. Rule. I don't know. I don't think there's any chance. I'm not a UEFA scholar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. But it says that in the regulations that Paul O'Keefe screenshotted for us. So I can't see there being the way, unless there is another rule that we don't know about. But look, Reguilon's just gone to do his cheerleading jobs. He's not playing any football this season, so why can't he go on a little mini city break to Budapest with his mates for a few days?
It does say playoff. It's a bit murky. It says qualifying phase and playoffs. Clubs must register a maximum of clubs may register a maximum of 2 eligible players, but then it does say after after the above mentioned deadlines, and those above mentioned deadlines it does mention the league phase. So, but then again on that specific one it only mentions the qualifying and the playoff. So
the last mentioned deadline though is 4th of September.
Yeah, but exactly, and it says you can register 2 players after the above mentioned deadlines.
When did the group stage start? What was the date of the first game? It was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it says a club may register a maximum of 2 new eligible players on list A after the above mentioned deadlines, provided the quota blah blah blah. So it does say that, but then on above that it does say for the qualifying phase and the playoffs, a club. So it does say only for those 2. So maybe it is just for those 2. But he has travelled, so maybe Tottenham know more than us. I don't know. It's a bit strange, but it looks like if I'm reading into it, it looks like we can't. But maybe I'm not seeing something, and they can because he has travelled. So I just can't see him travelling if he's not playing. If he's not registered at all, it just seems very odd that he's on the plane. So I don't know. But look,
You against him having a little mini break in Budapest? Like, just let the guy have a bit of fun.
why do you have to travel with the team?
Why not? He's a team of his mates. He's got a bunch of
but
mates with him.
This is a private jet for the playing squad going out to play a game of football in a, you know, why isn't like Spence with the team? Why isn't all, because they can't play? That's why he's not there. Like,
Spence is at home getting ready for the weekend, where he's going to have to probably play a few minutes.
Reguilon was been in some Premier League squads, so maybe.
But he hasn't got on the pitch yet, and he's probably not going to get on the pitch.
But he's still been in the squad, so he's got to be ready to play if we need him.
Reguilon is just in complete no man's land at the moment. That's the reality, you know. He's not part of the Europa League squad. He's part of the Premier League squad, but he's not going to play any minutes. And I don't know. I don't think he's going to play any sort of. I don't think he's going to be in the squad tomorrow because I don't think the rules allow for it. And I just feel like he's going to be a cheerleader essentially.
I mean, it seems that way. Does seem that way, but I guess it'll be all cleared up once Ange speaks to his presser, whether there is anything about him playing or not. Yes, we know he's not. I know people in the comments say he's not been registered. I understand that there is a bit of murkiness in the rules suggesting maybe he can be registered or not, but he has been seen on the plane, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it doesn't look like he's going to play. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bit strange.
It is, yeah. Look, it is a strange situation. But, you know, Reguilon, very happy-go-lucky guy. He just wanted a little bit of a City break. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And I've got no problem with him being there. A super chat here from Joshua and Tony says, I want to see Pape start. I think he will see Pape start, to be fair.
And he's been getting better, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has
Last
been.
few
I think a
games.
few players have really been, like, creeping into the season, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think
And he's one of them.
after the Coventry game, obviously, it's so easy to bash all the players up for their performance in that game because it was so bad, a lot of them, and the whole team was. But you got to remember, it was probably the first time a lot of those players had played this season. They're probably their first starts.
Particularly together as well.
And together as well. And we're seeing in the subsequent games after that they are starting to gel a bit more and they are starting to improve their performance. So, you know, I think we were right to be harsh on that Coventry game, but I think, you know, when people kind of extrapolate that, say, oh, never want to see this guy again, or this and that, and oh, this guy's not good here and that. But, you know, maybe we just need to, you know, calm down a bit on our analysis after that game. Players do seem to be getting better as the season goes on.
Yeah, and look, it's no surprise to me that once we've seen a more settled team start games with Spurs, I mean, I think every single game that we've seen a settled team play for Spurs this year, it's been more or less a good performance. Like, every game this season in the Premier League, in the Carabao game, in the Europa League, I think it was more of a settled team than it was against Coventry. You've seen good performances. We should be sitting here in the Premier League, probably level points with Liverpool in terms of our performance level.
Definitely.
So it's just a shame. Just a girl who loves Spurs, big
Come
up,
on.
Kate. She says, we as Spurs fans have PTSD from underestimating teams and going out the competition to lesser sides. We will win this comfortably tomorrow, gents.
100%.
Come on.
Just as long as they don't arrest their manager, we should be okay. Keep him away from jail and we'll be fine.
You know, all we need is a bit of a sending off in the first 5 minutes to give us a kick up the arse, then we're fine.
Maybe Romero takes one for the team.
Big up, Kate. That's just a girl who loves Spurs. So score prediction, what are you going for tomorrow?
Score prediction, I'm going to go for... You know what? I'm going to go for 2-1.
2-1. You're going
2-1.
for a tight one.
Tight one, I think. I reckon similar, not similar to Coventry, but I reckon obviously we dominate the game. I reckon we have a few nice moments, but I reckon there will be moments where Ferencvaros get the crowd on their side. They get a bit on top of us, maybe, especially with starting players like Dorrington. I can see them putting them under pressure, maybe getting a goal, and then we make some changes in the second half. We gain control back, we add that quality, and we end up winning the game. So I'm going for a 2-1 win.
I am going to go for a bit more positive, a bit more confident. I'm going to go for 3-0 to Spurs. Another repeat of the
3-0.
Carabao game. We did it against Carabao, which are better opposition with 10 men. We're going to have 11 men in this game. I do suspect maybe a tiny bit of a weakened lineup from Spurs, but I still think there's going to be a lot of good players in there in terms of experienced players in there. So I think 3-0, and I think Mikey Moore's going to score tomorrow night.
Clean sheet.
Yeah, clean sheet away in Hungary. And if we do go and win tomorrow, 2 wins from 2, I mean, pretty much already qualified for the next round.
I mean, at the moment, as we say, we're 4th in the table. We play early on in the day, so if we win, we do go top. And as you say, in this new phase, obviously in the last group stage, if you get a couple of losses, you're kind of in trouble, in danger of not qualifying. Here, you can probably lose like 3 games and you can still qualify comfortably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a couple of wins and, we're half the way there probably.
Yeah.
Especially from the getting in the playoffs anyway.
Just before we finish the match review, let's just go and have, I know it means nothing right now, but let's go and have a look at the table right now via SofaScore. We are sitting 4th with the second highest goal difference. So you've got us, Lazio and FCSB all joint in second, with Ajax just got a goal more. And yeah, you've got some big teams that actually haven't got off to a good start. You look at Olympiacos, obviously the Conference League holders. They lost their first game. Porto, lost their first game to Bodo Glimt, play Man United. Man United drew their first game. Roma drew their first game. Sociedad drew their first game. Bilbao drew their first game. So actually all those teams that we were saying before the tournament that, that we should be worried about facing, none of them have won their first game.
All right, so that's why we're the pre-tournament favourites, people. But look, obviously we do have some much tougher games coming up. Galatasaray away and Roma, and maybe when we face these teams, we'll have to see how we do. But as long as we just beat, if we can just beat the teams that we should beat, and then obviously when the games are a bit tougher against Roma and Galatasaray and stuff, they might not even make that much of a difference if we just win the games that we should. So these games are very important, and let's just hope we get the job done and takes the pressure off those games against Roma and Galatasaray a bit.
Absolutely. But that is your match preview. Score predictions. I'm going for 3-0 to Spurs. Sim is going to go for 2-1 to Spurs. And yeah, me and Sim back on the watch-alongs tomorrow night, 5:45 kickoff. And yeah, it's nice getting back into the watch-along schedule. And we've got another super chat, but we've also got a new member, just to go who loves Spurs. Kate, welcome. I was about to say welcome to the family, but she's pretty much part of the furniture right now.
Come on.
So big up to you, Kate. And another super chat here is a question for both of us from Joshua and Tony again. He says, got 2 questions. 1, what ex-Spurs player would you bring in to start? And 2, how do I become a member? Well, you can become a member by the link in the description below, or you go to the membership tab. You can do that. So come and join us, come and join the family. And 2, what ex-Spurs player would you bring to start for Spurs?
One ex-player that's playing now, or just an ex-player that's ever?
Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
It'd be interesting. What ex-Spurs player that's currently playing would you bring back?
That's currently playing.
Are there any?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. Yeah, Harry Kane.
That was a hard one.
That was a hard one. An ex-player. I'm trying to think of a player who would fit the system right now, like.
Well, Gareth Bale would completely fit this. Gareth Bale fits the system down to a T.
And Bale on the left side of Gareth Bale, that version. I mean, Bale, yeah, any version. But just imagine that Bale that tore Inter Milan apart.
Yeah.
He'd be so good in this system. Aaron Lennon, I reckon, would be really good in this system. Actually, I'd really like Aaron Lennon.
I would like Aaron Lennon in this system, but there are so many more better players that you can bring in.
Obviously. I mean, you obviously always pick our best players.
Musa.
Dembele, yeah, he would be really good.
Musa Dembele in the 6, I think, would be incredible.
Yeah, Dembele in the 6. Ooh.
Imagine Dembele in the 6, and Maddison and Kulu ahead of him.
Oh,
like no one would ever be able to get the ball off us ever.
Oh, be beautiful. I reckon Berbatov would be really good in this system. I like the sound of Berbatov in this system. Actually, maybe he could work on his pressing though. Could work on his pressing a bit.
Berbatov wouldn't work under Ange.
If he could work on his pressing, he'd cook.
Yeah, but he would never work on his pressing.
He would never work. I think those players. Maybe I'm trying to think defenders, but I don't know. Do I take Vertonghen over Van de Ven right now? I don't know. I
actually don't. I think Van de Ven is tailor-made for this system with his speed. Vertonghen I would love. I mean, I think Vertonghen's one of the best centre-backs we've ever had. But I think in terms of the attributes that Van de Ven has, he's like Vertonghen on steroids. That's what it feels like.
And I don't think I would take like Walker over Porro in terms of him inverting. Like, I don't think Walker would work as well as Porro does.
The thing is, though, like, I wouldn't say we're moving away from it, but we've inverted our fullbacks a lot less since like we've really kicked into gear this season.
I just think we're being smarter about it. I think we're still doing it to what Ange wants. I think maybe
it's not as much.
Yeah, but I think that's just a consequence of them learning when to do it and when not to do it. I think maybe when they first started doing it, they just do it all the time because, they're training that way and they're just, they probably think, oh, I've got to do it all the time. But they're learning, like, actually, sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes it's smarter to stay out wide, and sometimes, but I think most of the time they still do look to do it, but I think they're just being a lot smarter about it. So, I think Gaza would be amazing in this system.
Gaza, would he press?
Gaza? Are you mad?
Yeah.
He would press like a maniac.
If he was pressing like a maniac, he would gas out after 10 minutes.
He would always run around, no, Gaza?
He would run around, but he wouldn't do it structurally.
No, probably not. He would be a crazy guy.
A lot of people saying David Ginola.
He would be good. He would be good on the left wing.
Proper
Imagine.
one-on-one dribbler demon, man.
Imagine
David
just
Ginola.
swung it out to Ginola every time. He'd be one-on-one, and he would just absolutely kill the fullback every time.
I'm saying Dele Alli. I think Dele Alli, a top Dele Alli would be unbelievable in this system.
Dele may brought in one of the eights.
Dele would be incredible. That late runs into the box, his pressing as well was top-notch. I think Dele would be supreme.
Yeah, I like the thought of Dele Alli as well.
Charles Preston says, Bentancur is our 6.
Come on, get with the program.
Oh, I thought it was Moussa Dembele, mate. I thought it was Moussa
Get
Dembele.
with the program. It's Bentancur, bro. Prime Perisic, someone said.
Hoddle, someone says.
Hoddle. I like the thought of Hoddle.
Charles
Hoddle
Preston
Madison
says
role.
Emerson Royale was woeful for Milan last night. I didn't see it, but did you watch any of the Champions League last night?
No, I was doing my live stream.
Oh, you're doing a live stream.
I was watching a bit of it in the background, but yeah. No, I didn't see. I wasn't watching full games anyway. Chris Waddle, I agree. Waddle would be very good in this system. Who'd be a good do you reckon BAE would be a good left back in the system?
Nah,
not
I
BAE.
don't think so.
You know who I think actually would be good actually is Trippier. I think Trippier would be really good in this system.
Well, he's very good on the ball, isn't he?
Yeah. I think Trippier would actually, at his best, would be pretty good.
Toby is a good shout. Edgar Davids. Prime Ericsson, people are saying. Prime Ericsson.
Ledley King, man. Just get Ledley King in this team.
And that, Ledley King. That stat about Kulusevski on the weekend against Manchester United, was it 9 key passes or whatever it was? I just read a stat before saying that the last person to get that many in a single game for us was Ericsson back in 14, 15 or something, or 15, 16.
2016, yeah.
Unbelievable. That's mad, isn't it?
Mad. And that's Ericsson at his peak when he was like a creation machine.
Yeah.
And for Kulusevski to be putting up those kind of numbers, when you add into the fact his dribbling ability, his physicality, and now he's adding that quality on the ball, which we know he's got in him, but maybe we haven't seen enough recently of. We've got a serious player on our hands in Kulusevski.
Absolutely. Joshua Antoni has now joined the family. He got his platinum membership, people. Welcome to the family, and hopefully you'll join some of the fan shows after the game. Come and join us after the game tomorrow in the fan show, and that goes for UK as well. Come and have your say on when we smash Ferencvaros tomorrow night. But look,
Cam Shang says Defoe. I actually think Defoe in this system wouldn't be very good.
Why? I think it'd be brilliant.
Well, up front by himself.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's one of those strikers you can play. He needs to have a partner, Defoe.
The thing is with Jermaine Defoe,
he needs to play a partner in the partnership.
I think he can do the number 9 in an Ange system more similar to the way that Farashi did it for Celtic.
Farashi.
And I think he would get a lot of goals.
Yeah, maybe in Celtic, yeah. I don't know. I feel like when he's up front by himself, he'll be too similar to Son in terms of he'll just get bullied out of games. He needs a partner with him, I feel like, Defoe. He's always been at his best in the 2 up top. I don't remember too many times we played him up front by himself.
There were a couple of times, but yeah, look, I take your point in that sense, but I think a 1 up top could be a bit different. You know, if he didn't drop deep like Solanke does and show his physical presence, just sticking around the box and be there to finish off those chances, he'd get a lot of goals.
Lamella, someone says Lamella the goal. I actually think Lamella in the Decky role might be decent. I wouldn't put him out wide. I think he wouldn't be good out wide in this system. I think he'd be good in the 8. Put him in an 8.
Lamella in the 8 would be a pure warrior, but will he get the goal contributions and the chance creation that Kulusevski gets?
No, not like Kulusevski gets, but I reckon that would be his best position.
Jacob Bannister says Prime Ndombele.
Get Ndombele back. He would cook in this system.
Yeah, what about Harry Winks? Harry Winks as well?
I think Winks would be good. I think Winks would be good in the 6. Put him in the 6.
Oh, boy. Maradona, everyone's saying.
Yeah, Maradona. I think he'd be decent. He'd be decent, I think, Maradona. Ricky Vieira out on the left.
Yeah,
Wouldn't mind
Ozzy
that.
Ardiles as well.
Ozzy
Lucas
Ardila.
Moura. Lucas Moura would actually be good in this system as well.
Lucas on the right, yeah. I think he'd be decent.
Through the middle.
You reckon what, in the 8?
More advanced than that.
What, Madison's role?
No, Kulusevski's role.
Kulusevski's role? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think he obviously did all right in the middle, didn't
On the
he?
wing, though, he is a fairly good 1v1 dribbler, Lucas. So on the wing, it would probably work as well.
Sandro, I liked it.
Sandro in the
system,
6.
Yeah.
Pure warrior.
Sandro. I think he'd be good. Prime Sandro, Prime Wanyama.